Hello and welcome to Namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Russia's Vladimir Putin oversees tests of Russian nuclear forces after both Moscow and Kyiv carry out overnight attacks against each other following the Trump-Putin summit in Budapest being put on ice. Japan's first woman Prime Minister, Takaichi Sanai, prepares a large economic stimulus, seeks work like a horse dedication from all, rejecting work-life balance in her first speech as the nation's top leader. French President Emmanuel Macron seeks acceleration of increased security measures at the Louvre following its reopening after thieves decamped with historic imperial jewelry worth around $102 million. And India's two-time Olympic medalist and star javelin thrower Neeraj Chopra is conferred with honorary rank of Lieutenant Colonel in the Indian Army in New Delhi. Russian President Vladimir Putin oversaw a large-scale test of Russia's nuclear forces on land, sea and air on Wednesday to rehearse readiness and command structure amid rising East-West tensions. The drills involved a Yars intercontinental ballistic missile launch from a cosmodrome, a Sineva missile from a nuclear submarine in the Barents Sea, and nuclear-capable cruise missiles from strategic bombers. The Kremlin said the exercise tested military preparedness and operational command, with all tasks completed successfully. The drills serve as a reminder that Russia holds the world's largest nuclear arsenal, coinciding with NATO's steadfast nuclear exercises in Europe involving 13 nations. And Russia's defense ministry said on Wednesday that its forces had captured the village of Pavlivka in Ukraine's southeastern Zaporizhia region, as well as Ivanivka village in neighboring Dnipropetrovsk region. The ministry also said in a statement on Telegram that it had struck Ukrainian energy infrastructure in what it said was a response to Ukrainian attacks on Russian civilian targets. Ukrainian authorities earlier said that 6 people had been killed in Russian strikes overnight. Now, a planned summit between US President Donald Trump and Russia's Vladimir Putin has been put on hold after Moscow's rejection of an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine, casting a doubt or a shadow over negotiations. Trump had announced last week that he and Putin were to meet soon in Hungary in Budapest to try to end the Ukrainian crisis. But Putin has been unwilling to consider concessions and wants Ukraine to cede more territory before any ceasefire.
US President Donald Trump abruptly shelved a planned summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin due to Moscow's refusal to agree to an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine. He also cited fears of a wasted meeting, dimming hopes for swift negotiations to end the ongoing conflict.
No, I don't want to have a wasted meeting. I don't want to have a waste of time, so I'll see what happens. But we did all of these great deals, great peace deals. They're all peace deals, agreements, solid agreements, every one of them. But this one, and I said, go to the line of battle, the battlefield lines, and you pull back and you go home, and everybody take some time off, because you got 2 countries that are killing each other. You got 2 countries that are losing 5,000 to 7,000 soldiers a week. So we'll see what happens.
Following a heated White House meeting last week, President Donald Trump urged Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to surrender the eastern Donbas region. Zelensky was denied long-range Tomahawk missiles and left without progress. Zelensky said on Tuesday that Russia almost automatically became less interested in diplomacy due to the postponement of a decision by the US administration on Tomahawk missiles for Ukraine.
Натомість Росія знову робить все.
Russia is once again doing anything to avoid diplomacy. And as soon as the question of long-range weapons for us, for Ukraine moved away, Russia almost automatically became less interested in diplomacy.
Менш зацікавленою.
Trump, after a productive phone call, as he termed it, with Russia's Putin on October 16th, had touted the Budapest summit as a breakthrough, while their August Alaska meeting yielded no progress. Russia's dismissal of an immediate ceasefire demanding full Donbas control and Ukraine's neutrality derailed the momentum for the meeting. European leaders, including France's Emmanuel Macron, Italy's Giorgia Meloni, and Britain's Keir Starmer, had issued a joint statement on Tuesday backing Trump's ceasefire call, but insisting on current front lines as the negotiation baseline without territorial losses for Kiev. Trump's personal diplomacy with Putin has frustrated allies who scramble to counter Moscow's obstinance. Bureau Report, DD India.
Meanwhile, Russia said Wednesday that preparations for a presidential summit between Putin and Trump are still ongoing, despite the US leader's announcement that it had been shelved. When asked about Trump's comments, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov told reporters, and I quote, "No one wants to waste time, neither President Trump nor President Putin," end quote. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov also said preparations are still on. Now, as the US government, the federal government's shutdown stretches into its fourth week, tensions between Democrats and Republicans are hardening, with both sides blaming each other for the growing crisis affecting federal workers and public programs. Republicans urged Democrats to reopen the government first, and Democrats demanded action at the Fix the ACA crisis before ending the stalemate. Meanwhile, US President Trump has said that he will not meet with Democratic congressional leaders unless the ongoing government shutdown ends.
They're not negotiating. What they're doing is saying they lost the negotiation when we got the great big beautiful deal done. They lost that negotiation. Now they're saying, well, we want to get some of the things we lost. But the problem is the things they lost are very bad for our country. We don't want to have people come over from all over the world, from prisons and all, and have them have their health care paid for. We want to take care of people that are here, that are American citizens and all.
And Trump on Tuesday responded to a report that he is seeking $230 million from the Justice Department for legal costs tied to federal investigations against him. Trump tried to overturn his 2020 election loss to former President Joe Biden based on his false claims about voter fraud. Trump has filed 2 administrative claims seeking damages for alleged violations of his rights. Responding to the report, Trump said he is not involved in the request but would donate any money awarded to charity.
It's a lot of money, and I don't, as you know, I didn't take it in the first 4 years. I'm not taking it in these 4 years either. But as far as all of the litigation and everything that's been involved, yeah, they probably owe me a lot of money. But if I get money from our country, I'll do something nice with it, like give it to charity or give it to the White House while we restore the White House.
U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance met Israeli President Isaac Herzog on Wednesday as part of efforts to stabilize the fragile Gaza ceasefire and push forward with U.S. President Trump's broader peace plan. Herzog voiced optimism, while Vance acknowledged challenges but expressed hope for lasting peace, citing support from both Israeli and Gulf Arab partners.
Talk about peace. We're here to talk about how to ensure that the peace agreement that started about a week ago sticks, that we move into phase 2 and phase 3 with success. As the president said, there will be torments along the way. It will be difficult, but I feel very optimistic based on my conversation with our Israeli friends and also with our Gulf Arab friends.
And Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu signaled strong opposition to Turkish involvement in a proposed international force to oversee the US-backed Gaza ceasefire, hinting at disagreement despite Turkey's offer to participate. Speaking alongside US Vice President Vance, Netanyahu said security decisions for Gaza would be made with US.
When it comes to Israel's security, we do what we have to do. Right? That's always the case. That's not a question. But America has an interest in a strong Israel, as you just heard from the Vice President. Israel has an interest in a strong America. America has other interests in this region. Where we can be flexible to accommodate that, that's good, because a strong America is in our interest. And equally, as you just heard the Vice President say again, a strong Israel serves America's interest.
And Israel's military confirmed on Wednesday that the remains of two more hostages returned the day before have been identified as 85-year-old Aryeh Zalmanovich and Master Sergeant Tamir Adar. According to the army, Zalmanovich was abducted from his home in Kibbutz Nir Oz during the 7th of October 2023 attack and later killed in captivity on the 17th of November that year. Adar, aged 38, was killed while defending the same kibbutz on the 7th of October and his remains were taken captive. The identification of their remains forms part of the ongoing process under the ceasefire-related deal aimed at recovering living and deceased hostages held by the Hamas since the start of the conflict. Syria is on the verge of major economic changes as it anticipates a possible easing of US sanctions, according to Economy Minister Mohammed Nidal al-Shar. Speaking in London, al-Shar expressed hope that a related bill would soon reach US President Trump for potential approval. To help stabilize its struggling currency, Syria is preparing to issue new banknotes early next year, which will remove 2 zeros from the current denominations. This measure is intended to boost the Syrian pound's purchasing power, which has sharply declined due to years of conflict. Reconstruction remains a massive hurdle, with the World Bank estimating the cost at $216 billion. Al-Shar emphasized that the actual expenses could be even higher, especially when factoring in the modernization of infrastructure. Meanwhile, Syria is working on restructuring its debt to ease financial burden. Iran has ratified a law joining a United Nations Convention against terror financing. That's what local media reported Wednesday, in hopes it will lead to access to global banking and easing of trade and relieving pressure on a sanctions-hit economy. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian was elected last year on a promise to ease relations with the West and secure the lifting of sanctions which are hurting the economy. His administration is trying to bring the country in line with the demands of the Financial Action Task Force, or the FATF, which monitors money laundering and terrorist financing. Tehran has for years provided support to the Palestinian Hamas militant group, Lebanon's Hezbollah group, the Yemen's Houthis, all designated as terrorist groups by the United States, along with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Iran was returned to the FATF blacklist of non-cooperative countries in 2020, which includes North Korea and Myanmar. Local media reported on Tuesday that an Iranian representative attended an FATF meeting in Paris for the first time in 6 years. Colombian President Gustavo Petro on Tuesday called for international support amid what he described as aggression against his country. The comments have come after US President Trump called Petro an illegal drug leader, which Petro's government described as offensive, marking a new low in fraught relations between Bogota and Washington. Trump also announced plans to raise tariffs on the South American nation and halt all payments to it. During the meeting in Bogota, Petro highlighted the United Nations' acknowledgement of errors in its system for measuring potential cocaine production in the country, which has sparked criticism of Colombia's efforts to combat drug trafficking.
The United Nations has already acknowledged its mistake in a public statement. They did not tell Trump that the same organization that made this report, the United Nations, admitted it was wrong and are trying to stain Colombia's reputation only because they want to continue dropping missiles in the Caribbean and want to invade Venezuela.
And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. Inflation worries for the United Kingdom. A deadly head-on bus collision in Uganda. And India moves up to the 9th position in terms of its total forest area according to a global ranking.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. The United Kingdom's Office for National Statistics reported Wednesday that Britain's inflation rate held at 3.8% in September, above the Bank of England's 2% target. The unchanged Consumer Prices Index, defying a predicted rise to 4%, keeps pressure on the Labour government ahead of its 30th October budget. Finance Minister Rachel Reeves has expressed disappointment, signalling potential tax hikes to address soaring deficits after September's 5-year borrowing high. Lower food, recreation and airfare costs curbed inflation, but persistent services inflation at 5% dims rate cut hopes. Economists expect the Bank of England to hold rates at 5.25% on the 7th of November, with only a 70% chance of a December cut. Donald Trump is now heading to Japan next week from the 27th of October to 29th for talks with Japan's new and first woman Prime Minister, Takaichi Sanai. Trade, investment and security are expected to dominate the agenda as the two leaders meet in Tokyo next week. But what's also in the news is Takaichi's aggressive plans to increase productivity, even shunning in the process work-life balance. DD India's Abhimanyu reports.
Japan's new Prime Minister, Sanai Takaichi, is preparing for a first major diplomatic meeting with US President Donald Trump during his visit to Tokyo early next week. Her government is finalizing a significant purchase package to present to Trump, including American-made Ford F-150 pickup trucks, more US soybeans, and increased imports of liquefied natural gas. The soybean deal aims to support US farmers struggling with Chinese import restrictions. Currently, US soybeans make up about 70% of Japan's consumption. The package builds on previous $550 billion investment in US by Japan. The pact brokered by Takaichi's predecessor, Shigeru Ishiba, the pact aimed at securing lower auto tariffs. On the defense front, while Washington is pressing Japan and other allies to boost military spending, Takaichi will not likely commit to a new defense spending target at this meeting. Following the meeting in Tokyo, Trump and Takaichi are expected to travel together to Malaysia for the ASEAN summit and later to South Korea for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation meeting. As Takaichi begins her tenure, she has an uphill task to build a strong Japan. She is preparing an economic stimulus package that is likely to exceed last year's $92 billion to help households tackle inflation. The package will also include investments in growth sectors such as artificial intelligence and semiconductors as the government focuses on strategic economic development. Takaichi, known as an advocate of expansionary fiscal and monetary policy, promised to work tirelessly to restore Japan's economic might, even shunning work-life balance in the process.
I will keep my promises. We cannot rebuild unless we mobilize the full strength of every generation. You will work like draft horses. I myself will throw away the very phrase work-life balance. I will work and work and work and keep on working.
Takaichi has been unapologetically blunt. The 64-year-old conservative politician says her goal is to become the Iron Lady, much like UK's former Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. Abhimanyu Pawar's report for DD India.
North Korea fired multiple short-range ballistic missiles on Wednesday, just a week ahead of the APEC summit to be hosted by South Korea. It marks Pyongyang's first missile launch since May, in defiance of international bans backed by Seoul and Washington, D.C. South Korea's Joint Chief of Staff said that several projectiles were fired from near Pyongyang towards the northeast. The launch took place as South Korea's President Lee Jae-myung prepares to meet U.S. President Trump next week during the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit. Meanwhile, Japan's Chief Cabinet Secretary said on Wednesday that Japan would continue to work closely with the U.S. in response to North Korea's latest missile launch.
Japan and the United States are working closely, sharing the missile warning data in real time, and we are taking all possible measures to ensure a thorough response. The government is aware of the latest missile launch. So far, no damage has been confirmed within our territory or exclusive economic zone, and no damage has been reported from relevant authorities. North Korea has consistently demonstrated its intention to enhance its nuclear and missile capabilities. Its repeated launches of ballistic missiles and related activities pose a serious threat to the peace and security of Japan, the region, and the international community.
A tragic road accident in Uganda has killed 46 people after two buses collided head-on early Wednesday. The crash took place just after midnight on the Kampala-Guru highway during an overtaking attempt. Said the police, all passengers on both the buses were killed and several others have been injured. Authorities are investigating the cause of the incident. Emergency teams responded quickly to assist survivors and clear the wreckage. This is one of the deadliest road accidents in Uganda in recent years. The Louvre reopened Wednesday in Paris after a Sunday heist that saw thieves steal 8 priceless royal jewels or jewelry pieces, including Napoleon's gift to Empress Marie-Louise, valued at $102 million estimated. The Apollo Gallery remains closed as over 100 investigators pursue an organized crime group. The daylight robbery involving a ladder and truck sparked criticism of French museum security. Interior Minister Laurent Nunez expressed confidence in capturing the culprits. Louvre Director Laurence Descartes faces Senate questions today on security measures. The museum defended its 2019 display cases despite recent thefts at other institutions. Visitors like Fanny from southern France were relieved to enter the world's most visited museum. And French President Emmanuel Macron on Wednesday demanded an acceleration of security upgrades at the Louvre following Sunday's audacious theft cum robbery. The daylight heist, including 8 priceless pieces, exposed security lapses, sparking public frustration over unclaimed responsibility.
Administrative investigations on the one hand and judicial investigations on the other are underway and will shed full light on what happened. Macron also indicated that measures to secure the Louvre were being deployed, and he requested an acceleration of these measures, with a proposal for acceleration expected next week.
India's Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal attended the 16th United Nations Conference on Trade and Development Ministerial Conference in Geneva. Addressing the UNCTAD Roundtable, Piyush Goyal said India is addressing supply chain vulnerabilities through its Atmanirbhar Bharat agenda.
Atmanirbhar Bharat, that's a self-reliant India. And we are addressing each and every supply chain sectorally, to see where our vulnerabilities are, where we need to expand capacity, even though it may not be adhering to Michael Porter's theory of the comparative advantage of nations. We are willing to pay that extra buck to be able to have resilience in our supply chains. And that has, of course, helped us create jobs, helped us create production capacities within the country.
And the minister also added that India's development journey is a template for growth.
India's own development journey can provide a good template to address some of these issues. And we stand ready to share with everybody the various initiatives, the various practices, our own new way of working that we are trying to introduce in India. In fact, it is no mean achievement that today we are amongst the top 5 GDPs in the world. We are the fastest growing large economy in the world.
India has achieved a significant milestone in global environmental conservation by securing the 9th position in terms of total forest area globally. Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Bhupendra Yadav, announced this on Wednesday. The minister said that the achievement comes on the back of the Modi government's planning and policies for protection and enhancement of the forests and massive plantation efforts by state governments. According to the Global Forest Resources Assessment 2025, India has maintained its third position globally in terms of annual gain. The sacred footwear or Charan Suhave of the founder of the Khalsa Panth, Dasham Pita Shri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj and his wife Mata Sahib Kaur Ji will be taken to Patna Sahib as part of the Guru Charan Yatra. The holy Jor Sahib will be permanently placed at Patna Sahib. In a post on X, Prime Minister Modi said, and I quote, "May the Guru Charan Yatra deepen our connect with the noble ideals of Shri Guru Gobind Singh Ji and Mata Sahib Kaur Ji. I will ask people in the areas this yatra will cover to come and have darshan of the holy Jor Sahib." Now, the Guru Charan Yatra will begin from the 23rd of October, that is from tomorrow, from Delhi's Moti Bagh Gurdwara and reach Faridabad by the 23rd night. It will then travel to Agra, Lucknow, Kanpur, Prayagraj, Varanasi, Sasaram and reach Takht Shri Patna Sahib on the morning of the 1st of November, marking the conclusion of the yatra. Now, India's two-time Olympic medalist and the star javelin thrower Neeraj Chopra has been conferred with honorary rank of Lieutenant Colonel in New Delhi on Wednesday. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh bestowed the insignia of honorary rank of Lieutenant Colonel in the Territorial Army on Chopra. Chief of Army Staff General Upendra Dwivedi and other senior officers of the Indian Army and Territorial Army were present on the occasion. Enrolled in the Indian Army in 2016, Neeraj Chopra has served with the Rajputana Rifles. The star javelin thrower created history by becoming the first Indian athlete to win an Olympic gold in track and field at the Tokyo Olympics. And that's all we have for this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. Just scan the QR code and download the app right away. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.